see if that's on there now. We are live again, guys. This time we just tried going straight without scheduling an event, just created a new event, and we're going to see how many folks come in here. I'm currently showing none, but we're going to give it a few minutes here to get some folks online. So coming to you live, we've got some folks I think starting to join here, and slowly but surely we're going to get going, I do believe. So coming to you live from Scott County, Virginia, in the community of Hiltons, Virginia, and you guys are here with me in our cabin down the road. And we're just going to try to see if we can get this going. Jason Arrington, thumbs up, working now, good. Locked and loaded, prayers for your brother Jeff. Let's get this going. Absolutely. Sorry for all the technical issues. We're going to try to keep this going here. Thank you guys for bearing with me as we move forward and try to get this working for everyone. So I'm still new and learning my way around the YouTube world to try to get everything to work the way that we hope it would work in the future. We want it to work, obviously, for you guys live from Richmond. This back doorway we were able to figure out to get the live events working. It has some challenges, but hey, it's better than nothing. So I'm not about to complain. Again, huge shout out to Brother Vern and Brother Justin for helping me get this going. We do have a few things tonight that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and wanted to make this a Q&A session. So I hope we can get some questions in here. Hopefully get a couple more people. Brother Michael Gale, I'm here. Justin, my brother. He says, hi, Justin, my brother. So hopefully we can get some more people joining in. I know we've got some folks from Facebook that are also going to be watching. They may message me here in a minute. If they do, I will try to make sure that I get them to be able to tune in and watch as well. So as we're waiting for a few more people here to join and kind of join online here, I want to remind everybody that this is a new thing that we're trying to do with the Scott County VA Gun Owners Group. It's a group that's started on Facebook. These are just truly grassroots folks that started here in Virginia. I see we just got some new subscribers, so I see some people hit some buttons here. So this is cool. We get some folks to hit subscribe. That's definitely helpful. We are still working our way toward 1,000 subscribers. Again, huge shout out to Brother Vern over on the Vern's Prep and Survival channel. He was able to help me get going to where we can do live even if we don't have 1,000 subscribers. But that 1,000 subscribers is going to let us use some more traditional tools that I think may be a little bit simpler to use. So if you're new to the channel, please hit subscribe. What are we all about? We're all about your Second Amendment rights and the frontline fight we're having here in Virginia. We've got... You could call him the governor. It's really a purchased bot by Bloomberg's money. There's some videos out there you can follow the money. I'll try to see if I can find those links and get them up later. But folks, this was a bought and paid for run. I see Dylan got on there. Good, it's working. Awesome, Dylan. So if this is working good for you, Dylan is also one of our administrators on the Facebook group. Again, Scott County VA Gun Owners. If you looked it up on Facebook, join it. There's a lot of good information on there. And if you do join that, be sure to answer the questions. We're not letting somebody through because we know trolls are out there. So answer the questions if you want to get on that. Brother Mike is a veteran, repelled out of helicopters. That's awesome. He's an awesome military vet. That's awesome, Brother Mike. That is awesome. I've done skydiving, but man, I've rappelled down rock walls, but I've never had the opportunity to rappel out of a helicopter. I can just imagine some of the stories you may have. So, Brother Mark, you're with me, brother. I hear you. I appreciate it. We're all on the front line with this. And again, I was mentioning that Facebook group. Dylan Lawson's one of the admins. We've got several other admins. A lot of good resources on that Facebook group. Brother Vern's in the house, I see. Brother Vern, thank you again. We got it working. But if you're on Facebook, join that group. If you're not on Facebook, folks, I'm telling people, don't worry about trying to join Facebook. It ties up a lot of your time, and it's just really, honestly, a lot of jibber jabber. It's just really not with it. So we are we try to create this YouTube channel as another venue, because locally at several of the meetings that we've been at, we've received the feedback that there's a lot of folks that aren't on Facebook. And again, we're saying if you're not on Facebook, don't worry about going and joining. We want to be able to answer your questions and get some information to you if you're on the internet. So again, we started this YouTube channel for that reason. It's another venue to reach out to folks. Brother Vern says he got off Facebook years ago. That's fantastic. I don't blame you, brother. Brother Steve Sumi, I'm here with you. Thanks for all you're doing. Hey, we're trying for you guys. Listen, this certainly is a grassroots foundation event that's starting here in Scott County, Virginia. We're looking for local folks that we're doing some specific things with. We are going to be having a group meeting coming up. Delynn, you're probably going to kill me for not getting that exact date. I think it was the 25th. That's probably right. It's probably next week. So the 25th, I believe it was. Delynn, if you're on there, Delynn Lawson, you see her comments there. If you can post that comment on when that meeting will be, what we're trying to get set up. We don't have a venue yet, so we're looking at trying to find a good venue somewhere central in Scott County. So that's what that means to the folks that are local. So if you're in Scott County and you want to know what this channel's about, it's for you to know how you can get involved here in the community, right? Let's talk bigger picture. Let's say you're in Virginia, and it is 25th, so that's good. Just talking with friends, exactly right, Brother Justin. It's going to be hard not to call you JD. I know everybody calls you Justin, but I've known JD for my whole life. He's always been JD. But okay, so let's talk again. If you're in Virginia, what is this channel good for you? We're going to be trying our best to bring you up to really breaking information as we hear it. We're working with our delegates. We're working with our senators. We're going to be live. This is very important. We are going to be live streaming as long as we can get all the technical issues worked out. January 20th, this upcoming Monday, January 20th. In Richmond. For those of you who don't know, that is going to be Lobby Day. I know we had a live stream we did earlier. I'm going to pull up a flyer here. Well, I'm going to hold this up for a minute while I'm talking about this. The Virginia Citizens Defense League is really working hard this year to backpack on the Lobby Day. Every year they have a Lobby Day, and they are working very, very hard to try to get folks to come up there and lobby our elected representatives. And so, again, we're going to be live on YouTube from there as long as we can get through all these technical issues. I'm going to try to get some pictures of this caught and put up on the video we made earlier that was kind of a precursor to this video. And I'll try to also put it in this video as well. But that's the Virginia Citizens Defense League. The NRA, National Rifle Association, had their rally this past Monday. My understanding, it was a great event. It went well. We want everyone to be able to log in and try to get this information. So again, if you're in Virginia, that's what this has an impact. You can see what's going on in Richmond. Forget Fox News, forget CNN, forget all of them. I mean, Fox News might be certainly, maybe in my opinion, more aligned with a lot of the things that we're seeing, but there's bias in every news. So what I want to try to bring from you there from the front line is really just an honest to goodness video. I'm going to be walking around, hopefully talking to some people. I'll be certainly seeing our delegate and our other representatives, having a conversation. The good thing is here in Scott County, we know our delegate and we know our senator representative for here. Todd Pillion is behind us. Delegate Terry Kilgore, he's behind us all the way. We actually see Terry Kilgore was one of the 5 that voted against the rules that the Democrats really shoved down our throats. On Friday, they changed the rules of the House and the Pocahontas building so that you could no longer practice your rights in there. You used to be able to open carry, or if you had a concealed carry permit, you could conceal carry in there. So, Delegate Terry Kilgore was one of the Republicans there representing us. He voted against it. You could see in the video his disgust with the way they were doing that. So it was very, very upsetting for him also. I see Vern said, yeah, definitely do a quick video to remind and let people know an hour or so in advance. We were trying that. I was going to try coming live to you guys on the laptop, but ran into some issues there and it really got down to the last second, so I just jumped back over to the mobile device. But this is just a chance to make sure it's going to work mobile. If this is going to work mobile here, hopefully it should work in Richmond. So I know I'm talking a whole lot, and I just want to say, let's see here. Yeah, so JD's giving a shout out to some folks. You don't need a shout out. Keep going. Preach the truth, brother. Listen, this is supposed to be a Q&A session, so I'm going to just continue to talk. I've got some things to share with you, but if you guys have any questions, throw some questions in there, right? I want to hear. This is not our channel. This is your all's channel. This is for everybody. I mentioned a second ago what it could be for Virginia. Let's talk about it. What if you're from Wisconsin? What if you're from California? What if you're from Nevada or Texas or Oregon? What does that mean for you? What is this channel going to be able to do for you? We can let you see firsthand what tactics are going to be coming to your front doorsteps. Because I'm going to tell you something right now, and I hate to say this, But if you're sitting there in your comfort of your chair and you've got your AR rifle in the other room, you've got, you collect your firearms, and you're a proud supporter of the Second Amendment, and you think, hey, this isn't going to happen to us. Well, let me tell you something, folks. That was me just a few weeks ago. Okay, being on YouTube and coming to some of these city council meetings and the board of supervisor meetings and several of the other items, going to Richmond. These things weren't on my list. I'll just be completely honest with you, but after hearing in the news some of the things that the governor Northam is trying to put through, it told me right then that I can sit by idly no longer, right? All it takes for evil to succeed is for a good man to do nothing. And I'd like to think I could consider myself a good man. I'm not going to sit idly by and not let this happen on my watch. So if you're in another state and you're somewhere else, realize that this battleground will be coming to you most likely as well. No matter what happens in Virginia, let's say that our stand works, and if they get some of these bills passed and through some legislation and through some other political persuasion, we get them taken back off and then maybe perhaps wonderfully maybe added to our Constitution specifically. But whatever we do to get that turned around, it may stop right here in Virginia. But even if we stop them here, folks, I'm telling you right now, they've got a lot of money in this. When you've got billions, Bloomberg has already said that he is going to put $500 billion up for his presidential campaign. So who knows what he's going to be spending on these other states. And we cannot let it fail in Virginia. I will tell you right now, my stance on this, it will not fail in Virginia. I will tell you, they may win some battles, okay? They already won a battle Friday when they jammed those new rules right down our throats. They did that with last-second notifications to the Republican representatives. There was one of the representatives that said he didn't even see the agenda for the meeting until the morning of the meeting. So they're doing all sorts of sleight-of-hand tactics. Let me give you another sleight-of-hand tactic that I think they're doing. A lot of comments are coming through here. We got Sister Julie Crisp. Let's see. I bid the citizens of Virginia vote Republican next time. You better believe they're going to. You bet they will. I guarantee it. Yes. Actually, so, hey, I just want to reach us out. Spider 02, get these illegals out of here. I want to tell you, go out and look at Richmond's numbers from 2009 to 2018 of the number of immigrants that were in there. Listen, folks, I have nothing against immigrants. I think it's fantastic when we have immigrants coming in, but there's a process they're supposed to follow. Richmond declared itself one of the sanctuary cities, and we're doing their best to let these illegal immigrants come in. Once these illegal immigrants come in, and if they work and if they establish their citizenship, that's great for that person, but how do you think that person's going to vote when they've got their brother, their sister, maybe their 5 wives or whatever it may be sitting at the border that want to come in illegally? They're going to vote for the Democrats because they know the Democrats are going to support them to have them as illegal aliens in the state or in that particular city. So we've really got to work about this. But look at those numbers from 2009 to 2018. It was like tenfold. It was huge difference in Richmond. So that's when people talk about the state, by the way, flipping. There's another picture you can look up. It's on the Virginia Citizens Defense League. It's a map that shows the state of Virginia and the cities and the states and municipalities that across the board have adopted some sort of Second Amendment sanctuary resolution. It goes dark green for ones that have went above and beyond that, all the way down to the ones that are red that they're not doing that. I'll tell you right now. That map is overwhelmingly green. We're over 95%. The last I saw, I believe, there's like maybe 6 or 7 areas, and that's only like maybe 2 or 3 counties. So keep in mind those areas may be municipalities where they have maybe specifically shot down a Second Amendment sanctuary status. So when you hear people in Virginia that are our elected representatives saying that Virginia overwhelmingly supports these gun laws, and that's why they're in office. No, it's not, folks. That map makes it very, very, very clear that overwhelmingly 95% or more of this state, this Commonwealth, does not support those. They do not. Absolutely not. They got voted in. They said they got voted in for this. No, they didn't. They got voted in, quite frankly, because of Bloomberg's money. He was able to push money, push the fact. In these urban areas, they had fantastic turnout. And that brings me to a really, really good point. If you're in another state, if you're in Scott County, if you're in the Commonwealth of Virginia, wherever you're at, And you're asking yourself, what can you do? Let me tell you what you can do. You can go out and be sure to get registered to vote if you're not registered. We're working here in Scott County to help get other people registered. Reach out to your registrar's office, okay? Find out what you need to do to help get your brothers and sisters in Christ and in this Second Amendment supporting event. Get them registered to vote. Find out from your elected representatives. It does matter. Every vote counts. That's exactly right, Delenn Lawson. I see your comment, Sassafras. Local elections matter. Sassafras, you're exactly right. There's no doubt that your local elections make a difference. If your local elections are all represented by Republicans, then you can guarantee that as it moves on up toward your state capital, that's going to have an impact, and it does have an impact, okay? Get out, get to work, get people registered to vote. Come voting day, you've got to go out and get folks to actually go vote. So if you're, when you make it a challenge in your office, make it a family challenge, right? Try to vote before your family members or, do something to try to get them going. So we've got to be able to vote them out. We've got a vote coming up in November of this year that's going to be critical, right? The political pressure that we are working to try to put on our elected representatives is to let them know that if they want to continue to serve in a public capacity, they better not vote against this. Because if they do, they are basically voting away their desire to want to try to continue to represent us. So it's essentially political suicide if they vote for any of these. You are right. I know Conan said a little late for votes, in my honest opinion. That's certainly a debatable point, right? For this particular election, you're exactly right. What are our options? If they get some of these passed through, which they have the numbers, they certainly can. We expect them to probably get some of these through. We're going to continue to hit them with legislation. We're going to be looking for potential stay of these particular bills if they were to get them passed. Listen, folks, this very likely, matter of fact, Fox News was just doing an interview the other day. I forget who the interview was with. It was with a pretty prominent lawyer and speaker that comes on there quite often. And she was saying very plainly, listen, this is going to go to the Supreme Court. That'd be wonderful. I'd love to see it go to the Supreme Court because then that helps every single one of you guys in every other state. When we beat them, when we show them that what they're doing is unconstitutional, hands down, it's going to make a statement. And I want that statement made right here in Virginia. Spider02, I see you. What do you think of Andrew Yang? I'm going to apologize. I believe that may be one of the presidential candidates. I'm not sure. Spider02, if you can verify that, let me know. But I'm not sure who that is right off the top of my mind. I think that's the one presidential campaign. But if it is, I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is just me. I'll speak for myself, but I'm Trump 2020 all the way, okay? Listen, I don't vote for the man because I think that he is great morally. If you think that your president has to be perfect, let me tell you two things. First off, you are never going to vote because there's no such thing as a perfect president. George Washington had issues, guys. Thomas Jefferson, one of my favorites, he had issues. Every single president has always had issues, okay? So if you're waiting for the perfect president, you're never going to vote. Secondly, if you're going to judge somebody else that's wrong, be sure to occasionally, there's an old saying that says when you point at somebody, you've got one finger pointing at them, but there's three of those fingers pointing right back at you. Look at yourself and understand that we're all sinners. We all fall short of the glory of God. I pray for Donald Trump. I will vote for Donald Trump, not because I think he's a great person all the time, not because I think that his life is perfect or that he's always done the right thing. I'm going to vote for him, simply said, just because I think he is going to stand up for us. I want to throw out, there's a lot of folks that will bring up about Trump and they'll say, he's the most anti-Second Amendment president we've had in recent years. I think that's debatable, but I think a lot of them are getting that ammunition they're saying that because of the fact that he helped ban bump stocks. I agree with you. I did not like him doing that. I think that was a terrible idea. But I will say this much. Politically speaking, I think what he was doing is he was trying to give a little bit to the other side to try to make some of those people say, see, we're willing to work with you, right? Now, he gave that up, which I do disagree with. What did the left do? Instead of trying to work toward the middle? No. They said, okay, that's a good start. Now we want everything. And that's exactly what they're doing in Virginia. Give them an inch, they'll take 10,000 miles. There was a great comment on there just a moment ago by Delenn. Daniel Gade is one of our folks that's trying to unseat Mark Warner in Virginia. If you're in Virginia and you can, place a vote for Daniel Gade. We're going to be trying to have him come to Scott County and do a, I see we got some trolls rolling in here. We can do a local campaign and see what we can do. So Let's see, Sassafras, there are inside GOP office positions and public elections positions. Get involved. Absolutely. Folks, this is me. This is how I'm getting involved simply because of what they're trying to push. I'm not happy about it. I feel like it's a direct infringement upon me and my life and my liberty, my pursuit of happiness, okay? I've got some firearms that maybe I've had sitting on behind a closed door for years now. And now all of a sudden, just because that same rifle's sitting there that I purchased perfectly legally, I don't touch anything about it because somebody up in Richmond changes the law. If they come in and find that now, I could be a felon and I could go to jail. I don't see that as American at all. So, Rhonda says, give me a wrench, please. Let's see here. I know there's some kind of way of doing this. I'm not sure on the phone, but I'm going to try to find out how to do this. Let's see. I don't want to remove a message. Folks, again, I apologize. I am sort of new with this whole new items here in Facebook, or excuse me, in YouTube. I'm holding down the message, and all it comes up is with an option to delete it. I'm trying to see if we can get some folks to get this to work. Sassafras, Washington did not need a bump stock, guys. That's right. They did not meet the enemy on the battlefield head on. Study how American patriots beat the glowing army of its day with the British. Vern's purpose for I will jump off and look how to do it. Be right back. Thank you, Vern. Excellent. I'm going to let you look that up and tell me how to maybe do it. If I hold on it, it's not coming up with that option to create some moderators. For those of you who are watching, if you wonder what a moderator is, we're going to get some trolls in these channels. We want to make this public, but with making this public, we know that there's going to be folks getting on here saying inappropriate things, saying false things. If you read something and it's just false, just folks, for right now until we can get this removed, understand there's crazies out there. So Brother JD is saying the 3 dots, look at the bottom, it says add moderator. If I tap them, there's not 3 dots. I'm going to hit the 3 dots down here 14 minutes ago. Maybe this is something here. Oh, those are all subscribers. Pardon my finger being right in your all space, but I'm going to try to see if I can find here what's going on. None of those, no spin wheels, notifications. That's all my alerts. I'm definitely going to have to figure out how to get this. Here we go, some comments. Oh, I don't want to turn the comments off. No. I want comments back. Definitely want those comments. I'm watching for questions as you're tracking. Mark says, a wrench, please. Yes, I want to be able to get this working. Got trolls already, brother. That means you're telling the truth. You, hey, man, right. Listen, I'm here to tell the truth. That's all I want to. I could not figure this out, but JD just brought up a great point, and I want to bring up something from the greatest tool that I know, which is the Bible. I don't proclaim to know it as well as I certainly should, but I believe the verse I'm looking for, and I didn't pull this up beforehand, I should have, but JD, you just inspired me. Let's see here. I believe it's 16. Let's see here. It is. I cannot find it. It's not the verse that I thought it was. But I'm telling you guys, you want some truth, I'm going to be bringing truth to you. Yeah, let them play. That's right. Go ahead. So the trolls that are on here, go ahead and keep playing. We're going to get you cleaned out eventually. I don't know how to get the wrench working right now. For all those folks that want a wrench, unfortunately, I think when we cancel this event, these comments are going to go gone. They're going to get deleted because of the way that since we are less than 1,000 subscribers. So all the folks that are making comments, I see Brother Mark, Brother Justin, Brother Mitchell. I'm going to be working with you guys. I definitely want to help get some moderators in here. For those of you who don't know, the moderators are going to help us get some of these trolls out of here. So I don't know again. And more join Prime, blah, blah, blah. I may have to end up doing this join Prime for a while. Because that's, I think, if I click that button, it comes up remove watermarks, private server, add custom brand, and more. We may end up trying to do that later on. But for right now, I'm going to keep going. RG Homestead. Good evening, Scott, and all on the chair tonight. On the channel, absolutely. I do want to share one verse of scripture. What I was going to bring up out of Psalms, I know it's in Psalms somewhere, I'll have it in a future video, but it talks about how wisdom is more valuable than gold, and that's very, very true. So for all the trolls on here that want to continue to troll us, listen, that's fine. We've got God's word. This is infallible. We're going to be bringing truth to you. That's what we're going to be doing. The book of John says that powerful. Yes, sir. I want to read something from you out of Ezekiel. Before I do, there's a older movie. It's a black and white movie. If you all have seen it, it's Sergeant York. It's the one with Gary Cooper. There's been some remakes later on, and I'll tell you, the one with Gary Cooper is to me the best one. He was a World War I veteran. He lived in the northern part of Tennessee, and he was drafted into World War I. And when he got drafted in, he signed up as a open. Oh gosh, I can't think of the term. Essentially, he was someone that did not believe in battle. He did not want to go, sassafras. If y'all can help me out with the term, somebody in the comments wants to throw it out there. He was a spoken, oh gosh, I cannot remember the term. But essentially, he did not agree with war. He was a preacher at the time. Now, he had an interesting life growing up, but he turned into a preacher. He was an assistant pastor at his church. And again, when he got drafted, he spoke out against the war. He didn't want to go to battle. He thought God's word says, "Thou shalt not kill." That's definitely one of the commandments. And so when he got drafted, he did what he could. He dug ditches. He was always good. He got talking to two of his superior officers about this because word got out about the fact that he didn't really believe in war and didn't believe in killing somebody. And of course, again, it was basically the Ten Commandments that was kind of driving him there because it says, "Thou shalt not kill." But they told him, they said, "Go home. Take some time off. We want you to read from the book of Ezekiel." He read in Ezekiel chapter 33. I'm going to do a little bit of reading here with it, okay? The particular verse I'm working towards is verse 6. So again, if you have your Bibles, follow along with me. In Ezekiel chapter 33, starting with verse 1, it says, "Again the word of the Lord came up unto me, saying, Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, When I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man in their coasts and set him for their watchmen, if when he sees the sword come upon the land, he bloweth the trumpet and warn the people. Then whosoever heareth the sound of the trumpet and taketh not warning, if the sword come unto take away him away, his blood shall be upon his own head. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning, his blood shall be upon him. But he that taketh warning shall deliver his soul. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity. But his blood I will require at the watchman's hands." Okay? Conscious objector, sassafras. Thank you very much. He was a conscious objector. That's exactly right. Based upon his bias of religion or moral principles, he refused to bear arms or participate in military service. Thank you very much. Conscientious. Several. Brother Mitchell, Brother Gimme Limiter. Yes, conscientious objector. Thank you very much. He reflected on Ezekiel, particularly, I'm going to read it one more time, chapter 33, verse 6. "But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, and the people be not warned, if the sword come and take away any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquities. But his blood will I require at the watchman's hands." Now I want to wrap up what that meant to Sergeant York. When he read that verse of scripture told him that, you know what? I'm like a watchman at the gate. And I have the right and I have the need. I have actually been ordained by God. God tells us, you watch it. When trouble comes, if you don't blow the horn, that's your fault. It says, building up to verse 6, that if you blow the horn and you let people know and they do nothing, that is completely on them. So to the folks that are watching this channel, those trolls that are out there, if you decide to do nothing and, down the road, they want to take away your second and then maybe your sixth and maybe your 10th Amendment, maybe the First Amendment, they want to infringe upon you. If you hear and you do nothing, that's your choice. Listen, God bless you. That's fantastic. If you do not want to practice your rights, that is your choice. But if you know it's coming, you've been warned, that is your choice to ignore them. And anything that happens to you, that's upon you. What I'm going to make sure, and that's what kind of got me involved with this fight, I'm not going to be the watchman that doesn't blow the trumpet. I'm going to blow the trumpet. And if you're one of those folks that are listening and you believe in this and you don't blow that trumpet, what the Bible tells us is that basically that blood's going to be on your hands if any is spilled. Okay? So we want to be sure to understand that we are all the watchmen. One day sitting on my deathbed, I'll tell you right now, I don't want my children to have to sit there and think that my father didn't do his best part. He didn't try. Listen, I'm going to say it ends here in Virginia, but listen, God's in control, okay? My salvation is not in question. I know exactly where I'm going. So when I leave this world, I know where I'm going. Do you? Do you? If you don't, you need to get that squared up. But I'm going to tell you, if we do lose this battle, I'm going to make sure that I've done everything in my power, and I'll die doing that in my power if I have to. I don't want it to come to that. But I want to make sure that we preserve our God-given rights. These are rights that God gave to us, okay? He ordained us with these rights when we were conceived in the womb. The first in the Bible that basically celebrated the upcoming birth of another person was Sarah. Whenever the baby jumped in her womb, and I'm terrible about quoting exactly the names, but when these things happen, we know that your rights don't come to you when you're born. Your rights are when you're conceived in the womb. I believe that's biblical. And so if it's biblical, I'll tell you folks, there's no I believe, I think it is. It's fact, okay? So I'm going to be doing some future videos. I want to go through Nehemiah. One of our administrators on our Facebook group had suggested that we go through and do a night that we would do a video about what the Bible says about defending yourself. And so I want to make sure we do that. So again, I'm talking a whole lot. I see a lot of comments going on here. There's some great, yes, and Jesus told him, you believe because you have seen me. Blessed are those who believe without seeing me. Brother Mitchell, you're dead on. Listen, as they say, faith is the evidence of things unseen, right? If I could bring God before you right here and say, hey, here's God. All you disbelievers, look, here's God. You believe because you see. Blessed are those who do not see and they still believe. That is faith, right, folks? That's faith. We want to have faith. We've got faith in God. We've got faith in this mission that we're working on. Vern says the instructions on how to pick postman are in a few messages up. Okay, I'll probably work on the next one because I really don't want to. I don't know if we need to. I could try to scroll up. Let's see here, and try to do that if there's a way easy to do it real quick. Burns. Okay, hold on the chat of the user you want. It'll give you options. The very bottom one should be to make moderator. Now I have to delete a live on my channel. All right, let's see if I can try this. I'm going to hold on to locked and loaded. The only thing that comes up says remove message. Remove the message from user, and I don't want to remove that message, so I'm going to hit cancel on that. Yeah, the only message I'm getting to come up on the iPhone here is that message to remove it, and I don't want to do that. So we'll get that working on another one. I'm going to keep tapping here and try something else. Nah, there's nothing that's coming up that looks like a winner. We're up to 27 users. What questions do you folks have? Throw me some questions out here. Let's talk about some things, right? A little bit of breaking news while we're thinking about some questions. Get some typed up there. Again, today, Governor Northam passed Executive Order 49. Brother Mitchell, through Christ alone are we saved. Amen. Executive Order 49, what does that mean? So actually, I showed this to you earlier. On the back here, it's showing you some of the things that are going to be banned by some of the upcoming bills. But one of the things also to remember, Vern says he has like 5 different ones on his. I'm not sure what the difference is. Maybe it's because I'm in one. I'm not sure. But we'll get the moderators fixed out, Brother Vern. I really want to get this working on the computer because I think maybe when I'm at somewhere that has internet, I think the computer may work out better. So for tonight, if there's any trolls on here, we'll just kind of look over those. I'll try to, when we end the stream, it's going to go away anyways until we get to the 1,000 votes, or excuse me, 1,000 subscriptions. So if you've not already subscribed, please subscribe down below. The only reason we're subscribing, I'm going to take a moment to say this, is we want to get above 1,000 because we think then going live will give us some more options. It will save these comments if we go live mobile on a mobile device. We can do it on a computer. I just couldn't get it to work earlier before this one. So if you've not subscribed, please subscribe down below. I think it's actually on this side. Over on this side somewhere, you should see a little bell. The bell will allow you to get notifications. I saw someone earlier said that the bell was not working, so we'll try to get that figured out. We're learning on the fly here, guys. We're learning together. Again, the whole point of all this is to try to make sure that you guys can go live with us when we go into Richmond. So I see. So Sister Donna Teleracio, do you know about Bill William Barr's pre-crime bill, Congress 838 or 6664? I'm not familiar with those particular ones. You know what? Now that you've said that, I'm going to go ahead and I want to do you guys some justice here. So Bill Barr's, I'm going to write down some comments because I'm going to try to get back on some of these down the road. Congress 838. If we don't get answers tonight, we'll try to bring them back up in a future video. Or 66, 64. So, okay, so the Executive Order 49, what that does, what's to come to us? Yes, I agree. See, got Jesus all for our guns, not a troll, but there's other factors bigger than this involved with what's to come in the U.S. Oh, well, Donna, I mean, I guess what I would say to you is, are there bigger factors that matter? I'll tell you right now, absolutely. There are very important factors. I'm not going to lie to you. There are all sorts of other topics that I could get off a topic on and talk about. This channel is dedicated to the Second Amendment. It's like they say, do we blame the American Cancer Society for not fighting diabetes? No. Their goal is to fight cancer. This channel's goal is the Second Amendment. Are there big topics? There absolutely are big topics. I won't disagree with that. But this particular one, we are trying to focus on our Second Amendment because I do believe that the Second Amendment is the last standing wall between all of our other rights and the rights to be able to exercise those rights. So I think that the Second Amendment is very, very important. Okay, so Brother Vern says he's going to try to help us figure that out. I'm sure we'll get that figured out. The North American Alliance was signed by President Bush. That's why we've been coming through our borders too. Oh, absolutely. Listen, the immigration thing is not just something Trump did. It's not just something Obama did. Obama made it explode just like he did, I think, some of our racial relations. But what I will tell you is immigration has been growing since about the year 2000. So you go back and look at immigration numbers from the 80s and 90s and see how it skyrocketed around 2000. So to that degree, yeah, I'm not here to push a party down on you guys. I mean, I think there's one party. I think it's clear which party more aligns with the Second Amendment, but that's not the point. We've got some Democrats that I know that are conservative Democrats, okay? We can disagree on other issues, but when it comes to the second, we're on the same page, and we want to make sure that those Second Amendment rights stay in place. What do you think about the state of emergency in Richmond? That's exactly what I was about to talk about, Brother Conan. So that is Executive Order 49. That's exactly what that is. It is a state of emergency in Richmond. Starting on Friday, he announced this today, Northam announced this today, that starting at Friday, I believe at 5 p.m., running through the evening on Tuesday, or maybe the morning on Tuesday, on the 21st, he is going to be making it so that you cannot carry any firearms anywhere within a certain large radius around the capital area in Richmond. Previously under Republican control, this may surprise some folks, but Virginia has a policy about open carry, as well as, of course, a concealed carry permit. Before the Democratic control, you could actually carry into the Capitol building your open carry. You could open carry a rifle, pistol. You could use your concealed carry permit. It was respected. Yes, that is something very, very important. So that is exactly what the executive order is going to do. And of course, it coincidentally is in place specifically because of the fact there are so many people that is going to be coming to Richmond on January 20th. We do have some out-of-state groups that I think may very well try to make some violence. We don't want that to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, anybody that is a Second Amendment supporter that wants to push this right forward, do not get violent in Richmond. That time has not yet come, okay? We've got to be patient, okay? There's no doubt that maybe one day that time will come, okay? The folks that fought like with this rifle here in the background, it's a muzzle loading rifle. Folks that used that at one time sat in this very living room. This house was built in 1783. That was the year that the Treaty of Peace in France was signed. That was ending the Revolutionary War, okay? So folks sat in this very living room in front of that exact same fire. Now, they didn't have gas logs. They would have certainly had wood logs. But they've had this exact same conversation in this exact room. So we're here to preserve that Second Amendment right. That executive order is going to make every single person, I believe, in that area a much softer target for anybody that wants to do violence. Okay? If you're there and you see somebody that yeah, let's see here. So, Brother, Give Me Liberty, I believe it is. It's kind of covered up there. Give me liberty, not just firearms, any perceived weapons. Yes, that I have it on my phone. I can't pull it up. I was going to if I got the computer working, but we didn't get that working. It's going to be sticks, baseball bats, helmets, knives. I think the only thing that you're allowed in that kind of, when I read through it, was if you have a folding knife that's less than, I believe it was either 2.5 or 3 inches, that's going to be allowed. So if you're playing, Let me rephrase that. Let me say that one more time and repeat that. You cannot even have your firearm in your vehicle if you are parked in certain public parking places in Richmond. So it's very important that you read that. We don't need some of our Second Amendment supporters going up there and getting taken advantage of by these crazy policies and these new crazy rules that they can put through without a vote, like this executive order and like what they did Friday. But we've got to be able to go up there, represent Second Amendment owners, let those politicians know, this is what you need to do if you go on the 20th. Go up there, be peaceful, be talkative, be nice, be professional, go see your delegate, go see your senator, be sure to touch base with them, let them know what you're pushing for. And as you talk to others, be sure to let them know that, you know, if they have no desire to continue in a political position, then by all means, then they can vote for these. And if they vote for these, you will do everything in your dying power, if it takes be, with every living breath that you're going to have in your body to make sure that those individuals do not get voted back in. Let's see here. Rhonda R. I'm getting some comments here from some folks online. Not attending, but wear the undergarments. Antifa may have shanks. Listen, not only may Antifa or some of the others have shanks, we know we've already heard words, supposedly, rumors. These may be rumors. Okay, but I fully expect this. So rumors now are not. I expect Antifa's going to be there. The 3%ers are going to be there. Moms Demand Actions are going to be there. I'm putting 3%ers. I didn't mean to throw them in there. That's another group. I like a lot of the things the 3%ers stand for. But unfortunately, the Antifa and them do not mix well. So I really want this to be peaceful, but that has me a little nervous. Moms Demand Actions. There's going to be a lot of folks there that are going to be trying to do violence. They're going to be trying to do something to provoke Second Amendment supporters to get 30-second clips, maybe 2-minute clips, maybe 10-second clips, whatever it is, of you turning your back on them, you getting mad at them, and you maybe say something to them that they can use that to put that on CNN and say, look, there's a crazy gun owner. Look, he went off on me. I was just standing here. I wasn't doing anything. Y'all can remember the video of the Native American here a while back at the Capitol, and the young boy, I believe it was from Kentucky. I may be completely wrong on that. You know, that he was standing there smiling in his face, and they said, you know, this boy ran up and got in the Native American's face, and it was so terrible. If you followed that story, you'll know that that particular teenager, they settled out of court with him because there was a longer video that shows that Native American walked up and got in his face, in fact. That Native American had all the opportunity to go around that individual, and he did not do that. So guys, they can twist videos. It doesn't matter how much you try. They can twist it. I'm going to be going live. Maybe I'll start it 10 seconds too late on accident. Maybe it'll flutter out for a few seconds and I won't be able to have the opportunity to get the clip that I want. But they can turn things around in a heartbeat, and we don't want to give them that opportunity. So we're there to be peaceful. I'll tell you what I'm going to have. I'm going to have my Bible with me. That's the greatest tool I think I own. That's it right there. I'm not in here as much as I should be. I can admit that. I'm very imperfect when it comes to that. But I'm going to have the patience, and I'm going to have that tool with me as I walk through. This right here is going to be what my tool of choice for the day. They're going to take away my other rights. You know, if they keep having their way, maybe one day I won't be able to walk through there with this. And I really believe that. There are probably some of them that would eventually like to work their way. Are there some honest ones that, you know, maybe they're just completely ignorant and scared of firearms? Yeah, I think that's honestly, I think that probably is the majority. Let's be honest, okay? I think a lot of the folks that are up there do not have this underlying tactic to come take our firearms. They're on the fence. They maybe weren't raised around firearms, or maybe they faced a situation where firearms have given them a very scary feeling. Those are the folks that we need to be reaching out to, right? We need to let them understand, hey, listen, we know we don't want school shootings, but you realize if we take away guns from everybody, that's not going to stop school shootings. You know, how about instead of that, we try to push some of the legislation that the NRA has been working on for literally decades to try to get some of these folks some mental health assistance that they need, right? We don't want a mentally unstable person to have a firearm, but there's got to be good checks and balances. Okay? They throw out the red flag law. They say, oh, well, the red flag law, that's what that's about. If you know somebody that's dangerous, turn them in. Let's take their firearms. We'll make sure they don't hurt anybody. Well, let's talk about that a minute. Is that really the case? Is it really about safety? When they do that red flag law, when they come to your house, and by the way, that person can turn you in anonymously, which is a violation, I believe it was, of your 6th Amendment, that you have the right to see the individuals and confront the individuals that bring charges against you. But with this new red flag law, you can anonymously turn someone in. When they show up at that person's house, they're going to take all their firearms, and they're going to turn around and say, hey, Good luck. Hope you don't crazy. Hope you don't hurt anybody. They're going to leave with all the firearms. They're going to leave you with your knives. They're going to leave you with your medication. They're going to leave you with rope. They're going to leave you with your car keys. They're going to leave you with all kinds of other things that you can use to hurt yourself or hurt someone else. Okay? That's not about safety, folks. That's about one thing. They want to come there and take the firearms. Okay? See, I mean, we still got 31 on. Fantastic. I'm going to keep going. I don't want to wear you guys out, but gosh, I could talk all night on this. The red flag laws are just a front to taking away firearms. That's just all there is to it. They have their universal background checks. They say, oh, what's that about? That means if I want to give my gun to my son one day, if they pass this, I'll have to take my son somewhere and he'll have to fill out and do a background check before I can give him that firearm. That is absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. Okay? Listen, people talk about a loophole at a gun show. They say, oh, you can buy a gun at a gun show and you don't have to have a background check. Yeah, that's true if it's a private sale. That's not a loophole. That's the law. Okay? If an existing law exists, that's not a loophole. Okay? If you buy from an FFL dealer, from a federal firearms dealer, which in many states has a definition that if you sell more than 30 firearms within a 30-day period, I believe that's the way it goes in a lot of states, then you're considered a dealer. In that case, you do have to pass a background check. And that's in place. That's already law. There's no loophole. Okay, people are following the law. A universal background check is nothing more than a subversive way for them to try to find out a way to get your firearms registered. Let's go a little bit more into that real quick. I know, just making sure I keep up with the comments. We still got 31 users. I know when it talks to these background checks and the fact that if you have what they call an assault weapon, which by the way, that percussion rifle is the original, what they might call the original assault weapon. Okay, it was the newest technology in the 1700s. Well, that's not completely true. There were semi-automatics in the 1700s, but that was the basically the same rifle that was issued to our military in those days. But they'll say the so-called assault rifles, you're allowed to keep them. Well, originally they were saying that they had to all be gone, and they said that that's basically confiscation. So they said, okay, we'll give you a grandfather clause. Supposedly they're going to give a grandfather clause, and that grandfather clause is going to allow the current owner to keep that rifle. But guess what? When you pass away, that rifle can't be given to your children. That rifle will have to be destroyed or moved out of state. Okay, that's not a grandfather clause, folks. That's just a prolonged or delayed confiscation of your firearms. Okay, that's not a grandfather clause. The grandfather clause from the 1986 Federal National Firearms Act, I believe it was the NFA. The NFA, I believe that's what it was. National Firearms Act from 1986, which was an amendment to the 1934 original bill that was updated in the 50s and then again in 86. That grandfather clause goes with the firearm. You can buy a fully automatic firearm if it was manufactured before 1986. That at least has some I would say some justice to it, because the grandfather clause goes with the firearm, not with the owner. That's the way it should be. So keep your comments coming. I'm trying to make sure. I hope they're still flowing there. I think it ended there with Sister Sassafras. So keep the comments coming. Let me know what topics you want to talk about. Let's talk a little bit more about that assault weapons ban I talked about. There are some folks that are saying that, hey, if we got that grandfather clause, that's a win. That's good. It is a win, and if we get them to give any little bit, that's going to be a win. But if we get a win, we can't stop. Okay, we've got to keep pushing, keep doing our best to try to make sure that they understand that we're not going to sit down. We don't want to quit there, right? SB 16, Senate Bill 16 was one that was actually withdrawn. I believe it was about 2 days ago they withdrew that. Again, that is a big victory, and I do think that is a result of the fact that the movement that they're seeing with the Second Amendment supporters all across Virginia. But I want to tell you this too. What's in SB 16, I believe it's 961 or 691. I may have that backwards. There's another bill that has essentially the exact same thing that Senate Bill 16 had into it. So what the Democrats are hoping there is, hey, let's retract this one. And all these people that are real upset, they're going to go, oh, we got it, we won. They're all going to go back to their house and be quiet and completely forget about the other ones that are further down the list. They're going to bring right back up, which do the exact same thing. And actually in that particular instance, they even add some more restrictions on us. So Be sure that knowledge is power, folks. Y'all have seen Braveheart, and you remember the scene when he's young and he's sitting there swinging the sword, and his uncle tells him, before you use this, and he holds the sword, he says, you learn to use this. This channel is about knowledge. It's about getting information out there. I will try to have a video where we call out some of the specific bills. We have some resources that are kind of keeping an eye on that. But, keeping pressure on our legislation. What I'm telling folks when I talk to my elected representatives, I say, listen, if you vote for anything that on any sort of way can be conceived as restricting our firearms rights, our rights to our Second Amendment, the rights that God gave me, that the Second Amendment protects, and that within the Commonwealth Constitution also gets protected. Those rights are protected. If you vote against anything that restricts those, then I'm telling you right now, you're against me. Not only you're against me, you're against the Word of God, because God, my Creator, God gave me those rights. And if you want to restrict them, then you're trying to tell Him what to do. And I'll tell you right now, folks, we can't tell Him what to do. You take the Constitution. I tell people, take the Constitution, rip it up, throw it away. You've still got those rights. Those rights were given to you by your Creator. You are unalienable from them. You cannot be separated from them. Okay? Whole other conversation if you break the law and you go murder somebody. That is then you've done something that can then be done to restrict your rights because you're then a dangerous individual. That's completely different than law-abiding citizens that simply have a tool that people fear and don't understand, and therefore they want to come take them away. So I don't see any sense to that. I don't know if we've hit a comments limit. We're still got 31 folks on. Comments have stopped flowing in. Can you guys still hear me? If y'all don't care, just throw some comments out there if you guys can still hear me. That was a real good flutter of it for a while. Yes, Sister Sassafras, the Patriot Act violates civil rights. I agree with you 100%. Comments, I'm not seeing any more comments. I hope we haven't hit a block or a limit here. JD, if you're still on there, if you can shoot me a text, let me know if the comments are still working. I'd greatly appreciate it. Donald, what are the United Nations goals? Yes, absolutely. What do I feel about the state of emergency? We addressed that. Let's go here. Let's keep scrolling. Hispanic population, no one speaks English. Yes, so English, the immigration. Listen, when you come here, listen, guys, when I talk to you and someone says, oh, are you American? Do I look at them and go, oh, yeah, you know what? Actually, I'm not American. I'm Irish American. That's what I am. No, we're all Americans, okay? It's working. Okay, I just got a good thumb up. Excellent. Brother Jason, my brother, my real true brother, just walked in and said it is working. So comments seem to be still working. That's good. But yes, I will tell you that if you come here, guys, listen, if you come here and you go through the process to become a citizen, I know some of them personally, and I'll tell you what, the ones that go through it right, golly, their knowledge of the Constitution and things in the Declaration of Independence, they understand things better than a lot of our children that go through schools. That's a whole other issue. One of the things we're going to bring up is education. That's one of the things we're trying to do with this movement, is get our next generation educated. So, if you come here and you go through the process legally, friend, fellow patriot, fellow citizen of America, you are an American. God bless you, and we're glad to have you here. You went through that process. To the ones that are trying to jump the line and the ones that are trying to come across illegally, I'm telling you right now, folks, that is not what America is. We are a land of laws, okay? The most supreme law is the Constitution and our Bill of Rights, okay? It goes down from there, and I'm going to tell you, for centuries, they've been adding all kinds of junk to try to take away your rights. Thomas Jefferson, sitting on his deathbed in the early 1800s, made the comment, well, he wrote it in a letter. He didn't make the comment, excuse me. He sent a letter to, I believe it was John Adams. I'll try to get the quote down the road for you. But essentially what he told him was that to establish what we intended in this great republic, we would have to have another revolution. They were so far away from what Jefferson, who wrote the Declaration of Independence, helped draft the Constitution, they were so far away from what they intended already by the time that he was dying. So this is no new story, okay? This has been going on for a long, long time. Gosh, there's so much information I want to do in videos down the road. Yeah, UN, Rhonda R., UN don't belong on our soil. Amen to that. Any pursuit, yeah, we've talked about that. Our founders were patient. So I still don't see comments flying on here. Jason, if you're listening to this, why don't you come over here and join me, man? Just come on over here and hang out. He lives next door. Come join me. Maybe you can have the comments, turn your audio down or something, and tell me if anything comes up that I need to address. But again, I could keep on going. I want to have videos down the road that's going to spread some education. I want to talk to you about what does the Constitution mean. You know what? Let's jump into something real quick. Not the Constitution. Let's talk about the Declaration of Independence. So I saw someone above said that we need to have patience. Sassafras, our founders were patient until laws such as these were introduced. Prepper Jack said that. Our founders were patient until laws such as these were. That's exactly right. I agree with you. I mean, guys, let's remember. They went into a harbor and attacked a ship that they threw tea off of it because they got taxed more than what they wanted to be. That's how they were. I mean, they were extremists. I got no problem with that. They were extremely American. Okay? We don't want violence. We're going to do all that we can to avoid that. We don't want it to come down to that, folks. We don't want to bring fighting and more bloodshed on this soil. There's been enough bloodshed on this soil. So we're going to do it through legal actions. We're going to win that battle. We're going to do it that way. They may get some through. Declaration of Independence. Let's have a real quick talk. I said I was going to bring up a little bit of an educational point. If you read the Declaration of Independence, it has a preamble, and it talks about what the beliefs are. Then you have a center section, which is one of the largest, it's the largest part of the Declaration of Independence, that enumerates, it goes through, and it highlights and suggests and shows very clearly all the actions that that our early American brothers and sisters, our colonialists, that they had tried. They petitioned the king. They had petitioned the magistrates. They had done everything within their power politically, legally, morally, and ethically before they went down to declare and say, okay, no more. We're not there yet. I want to be clear because I'm going to tell you right now, folks, I don't want bloodshed. I want this to be peaceful. And I know we can win the battle. That we can win this war. They may win some battles. They may get some of these laws passed. We are already had conversations with elected representatives that said there are roomfuls of lawyers that are set up, lined up, they're ready to push the button. They can't do it yet because nothing's happened. Everybody was up in arms about the NRA not doing something. And, well, folks, they hadn't done anything at that point in time. Even the rules that just passed Friday, that will probably be contested. What they're doing with this executive order, that will probably be contested. But those are still not laws, okay? Those are policies and, you know, essentially it's no different than me putting on the front of my door if I so wanted to, if I was crazy enough to put up a sign that said, you know, hey, no firearms allowed. That's the policy within my residence, okay, or within my place of business. Now, I'll be honest with you, I try to not go to those organizations because I feel like I'm an open target there. Someone that wants to do harm, do you think they're going to go somewhere where someone might be able to stop them? Or do you think they're going to go somewhere where they know they got a whole lot of soft targets? They're going to go to where the soft targets are. Jason, if you can hear this again, if you can come back over here if you wouldn't care, I'd greatly appreciate it. Help me out with these comments. Comments are still not coming through for me. We're going to keep rolling. Some of our future videos. I want to do some educational videos. I talked about these in some of my other videos already, but you know, I want to make sure that people that are on that fence, that maybe be scared or maybe they're frightened, they mean well when they think these Democrat bills are going to be good. But I want to be able to explain to them and show them, hey guys, listen, first off, if you pass these bills, not only is it violating people's rights, it's going to do nothing, okay? I was having a conversation just with someone the other day, and it was in a private message, and the individual said that they don't like the idea of confiscating firearms. They were adamantly against that. But what they also said was they said, when it comes to firearms, Jason's here now, excellent. When it comes to firearms, they said, if you want to grab a chair, man, bring it up, pull it over. One over here, whichever, you can sit on the other side. What they said in this PM was they don't support confiscation, but they think that some of the laws make sense when it comes to restricting certain types of firearms they don't think people should have. And they admitted, they said, you know, that could set the stage for things later, but let's try it and see what happens. I don't know, will it help? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. And I reminded this individual, I said, guys, that's very dangerous. You don't pass, you know, I know Nancy Pelosi's famous for doing this with the Obamacare. We have to pass it to see what's in it. Guys, there's almost nothing more ignorant you can say. It is very hard to take a law that is on the books and overturn it. Okay? That's very, very difficult. We may have that challenge here. We will win that challenge here. But what I told this individual is I said, listen, if what, and they made a great point. They said, you know what we should do is we should try a law, and if it doesn't work, we should throw it away. I wish it worked that way. We could probably get rid of enough legislation that would fill this entire house from floor to ceiling if we did that. Guys, there are still laws on the books that say, and I believe it was in Massachusetts, you can't put a sweater on your dog. Okay? Those laws are still on the books. And they don't enforce those laws. But the fact of the matter is if someone got into power that wanted to, they could. Okay? I told her, I said, it'd be great if it worked that way, but it doesn't work that way. We'd love to see them come off, but the reality of it is, if you're going to try something out just to see what happens, I told her, I said, well, let's go down that path. Let's talk about the assault weapons ban that was put in by the Clintons in, I believe it was 1994. It ran for 10 years. It was allowed to expire in 2004. All the numbers that we look at from that show that it had absolutely no statistical influence on the firearms injuries and deaths across the U.S. Okay? People talk about those numbers. People say, hey, you know, we regulate cars. They're about the same number of deaths with cars. Why should we regulate firearms? Well, there's a number of things about that. I could do a whole video on that, but I'm going to touch a couple points because I love this. This is an easy one to point out. First off, a vehicle is a privilege. You will not read anything in the Constitution that says you have the right to mount up your horse and take a ride. Okay, that was their vehicle then. Okay, driving a vehicle on a state road, that's a privilege because you're using a state, federally funded and supported and maintained resource to do that. Okay, if you buy a vehicle and you're only ever going to drive it on your property, you don't have to register it. There's no requirement for that. Okay, so just like a firearm. Okay, I mean, you know, that'd be like saying, well, the government needs to make sure that they pay for, you know, some sort of public access to firearms, right? It's not the same thing. Firearms are a right. Vehicles are a privilege, okay? There's reasons that firearms are not regulated. Go back, learn your history. Every single time that firearms have become restricted, especially registered, and especially confiscated, the immediate aftermath, and by immediate, I don't mean, you know, 2 days later. It might not even be 2 years later. It may be a decade later. That's still, guys, for American history, for world history, that's still immediately after if it's 10 years later. What follows? Genocide on massive, massive scale, okay? We all want to reduce crime deaths. We all want to reduce, by the way, 80% of your firearm deaths are suicide. We want to reduce that. We want to work on that. But if you make it illegal to have them for law-abiding citizens, that's not going to address it. It doesn't make a difference, especially these so-called assault weapons, because there's no such thing as an assault weapon. I want people to understand that. If I take this Bible and I go beat it over somebody's head, that then is an assault. Assault is an action. Okay? Are there any comments on there that I need to be looking at or saying anything about?
Look at them. There's several trolls in house.
We got several trolls in house. Welcome to all the trolls. JD, I know I love how you oftentimes make a comment and you say, hey, listen, welcome all the trolls. We're going to get you. Don't worry, we don't have our guys on here yet as moderators, but we're going to work on that. Welcome aboard. Hey, you might learn something if you listen. Continue to troll, but we'll take care of you eventually. Justin Welsh, yes, gun-free zones is like sitting ducks, fish in a barrel. That's exactly what Executive Order 49 does. I do have you know, some reservations about going into Richmond and the folks that might be there to cause violence. And I want to be very, very clear. Let me say this again. I don't know if I said it earlier or not, but I want to reiterate it because I think it's very important. If you're there in Richmond, if you're there in your capital one day, wherever this is at, if you're representing Second Amendment rights or Second Amendment protected God-given rights, you've got to understand that you need to go about it peacefully. We don't need violence. We're not at that point. If you see Antifa making violence, go tell the Capitol Police. Go tell an authority. Get that nipped in the bud, as they say, really, really quick. Let me tell you this too. Don't put it past Bloomberg and his money to take a bunch of people and throw them in some NRA hats, right? Make America Great Again hats, putting on Trump shirts, and they'll go out there and they'll try to cause issues. Because that, again, gives CNN that. They're not going to look at those people. They're not going to know who they are. From a distance, they're going to catch 30 seconds or a minute or 5 minutes of whatever it is they're doing that they can use, and they're going to use it. So if you see somebody wearing a Trump hat, if you see somebody wearing a Second Amendment hat, and they're causing trouble, Guys, tell an authority, okay? If you can diffuse the situation, I really caution you against it. That's not our job. We're there to lobby. We're there to talk. I don't want any of our Second Amendment supporters to get injured and get involved. Try to just to avoid that situation, but let someone know, okay? If you can diffuse it, if you're in that conversation, diffuse it, right? If you start having a conversation, I very well might, it could happen. Have a nice conversation with someone that is, you know, maybe for the Democrats and for what they're pushing, and we're having a conversation. If somebody comes up and tries to start, you know, belligerently saying something bad to this person, I'm gonna be like, listen, man, it's okay, brother. I got this. I'm good. You know, thanks, but no thanks. I'm good. Okay. If that person that's for it tries to start getting belligerent at me, I'm gonna say, all right, man, listen, I appreciate it. God bless you. Maybe I'll catch you after a while. Okay. I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna walk away. That's gonna be hard. Folks that know me, Justin, you can probably speak to this. We all feel the need to defend ourselves. We all feel the need. We have our personal space. We don't like someone abusing us, getting in our face, and taking up that personal space. And that's going to be difficult, but you've got to be willing to dig deep and do that. So, okay, so Penny Skeens, are they taking my guns? What do? I don't want to be labeled a criminal, so it's best to turn them in, right?
That's a troll.
That's a troll. Okay, yeah, because obviously that's not right. No, that's not. But Troll, thank you. Troll, you gave me a great talking point, so thank you, Troll. You actually had a purpose tonight. What happens if they pass these laws? Folks, I'm telling you, you know, do whatever you can to stay aligned with the law. We are going to battle this in the courts. We're going to win it in the courts, okay? Do not register your firearms. I'll tell you, that's one, do not do it, okay? I'll just tell you, I will never register my firearms. Try to find someone that might be out of state. Find somebody that you can maybe get to hold those firearms for you. Don't just jump and go do that either. Let's wait. Those laws, if they go into effect, we'll have some time to do that, and maybe we'll get a stay of those laws going into effect. So no, do not register your guns. Do not turn them in, ever, folks. The famous picture I can close my eyes and see was whenever the CEO of the NRA was Charlton Heston, and he held up a firearm similar to the one in the background, and he said, "For my cold dead hands." Folks, I don't want to go there, but I do agree with that, okay? We've seen a video come out of North Carolina. There was a sheriff that he made fun of that, and he said, you know, we see Second Amendment supporters say "from our cold dead hands," and he's like, okay, that's cool. How stupid do you have to be to promote violence? If you want to know who's promoting violence, look at an idiot like that. That's promoting violence, okay? Yes, we are saying that won't happen. Okay? We're not saying that we want it to. We're not saying that it's okay. We don't want to get there, so avoid that at all possible ways. Let's see here. We've got some trolls, definitely. Got a bug on me, crawling my arm here. Delenn Lawson, Penny, do you know what? Don't expect others to come to your rescue. Yeah, so Delenn, if you're still watching, I hope you're still on. We've got 26 members still on. Understand that there are trolls on here. We're going to work. Delenn, I'll get you set up as well as one of our moderators. I think your phone just died. The moderators will help keep some of the trolls. For some reason, the comments aren't updating on this thing. We'll get that figured out too.
Are you on live chat?
I am. We're going to get a lot of things. Let's go back over here and just see real quick, make sure I haven't turned something off. We've got some things to learn here still yet when it comes to the chat and YouTube and just getting all these things working. I'm trying to get the menu pulled up here, but it's not coming up. So I really appreciate you guys bearing with us, having some patience. It's not gonna. We'll figure it out. I will say over the next couple of days we may go live a couple of times for very short videos. We may test some of these things out. We're going to keep trying this out. We definitely want to keep coming to you live and bring you all the information that we can. You know what? I have no idea what my phone percentage is, but before it dies, I'm going to plug it up here. All right. So. Trolls are online. Delenn will get you set up. Justin, Brother Mike, we may get some others. Certainly probably need some others. We want this channel to grow. Let me say this too as we talk about this channel growing. You know, if you've not hit subscribe down below, yeah, it's still locked on 31 users, so I think my comments have just locked up for some reason. This channel is your channel. This channel is not our channel. It's for everyone to be able to see. I can turn the comments off or on, but I still don't see the new comments rolling in. Well, like I said, I appreciate you guys bearing with me here. The next couple of days, we'll do our best to get this worked out. I am new, relatively speaking, to YouTube, so I'll continue to work on this. This channel is about you guys. It's about spreading knowledge to you all, trying to let us know, trying to understand what our rights are. Let's understand what constitutional rights mean. What are the Bill of Rights? What's the Declaration of Independence? What are our options? What can we be doing? It's not about making money. I want to be very, very clear. This channel, any money that we make from this, we'll maybe do a vote or some sort of thumbs up or something maybe one day, and donate to a local women's shelter or food bank, church group. We did have some church damage that came through, or some storm damage that came through Hilton's here a couple days ago, and hurt some local homes as well as churches. But we will certainly. This is not about making money. The only reason this channel even came to life was the feedback that we got from some of our local folks at some of our local rallies, and they said, I'm not on Facebook. We wanted to try to give them this venue so that they could see that. Additionally, we are looking at also trying to get maybe what's called a call tree, a phone tree. What that allows folks to do is they can then sign up with a phone number. We can put that phone number in the system, and once it's in the system, if we have an urgent need or a message that we want to send out, we can send it out. It will call those numbers and deliver that message, either on the voicemail or to a person that answers. Because there's a lot of folks in rural Virginia, guys, and rural areas all across the nation that don't even have internet. Gosh, well, in a lot of ways, how great would it be to be back living in the days of no internet and no cell phones? It's a blessing and it's a curse. It's a double-edged sword, but it's something we certainly we have, and we're going to continue to use all the resources that we can to reach out to folks out there. So, again, future videos. Let's talk about that. Jason went to get his charger to try to see about the comments. I didn't see any other questions in there. I mentioned about the questions. These comments that are going to be on this chat, so to all you trolls, are going to go away pretty soon anyways. When we end the feed tonight, since we don't have 1,000 subscribers, all these comments will disappear. We saw that from a video earlier today. Brother Vern warned us about that, and he was dead on right. It did get rid of the comments. So after this video ends, if you have more questions, please put them down below. I really want to do some good Q&A. I've done a lot of talking tonight. It was supposed to be Q&A. I hope I answered a few questions. But we'll try to do more of these and maybe get a little bit more interactive as I figure out how to work YouTube. I really appreciate you guys being patient with me. We're going to keep this always going, try to bring you all the information that we can. The future videos, again, I really want to have a video on the biblical word of defending yourself. A lot of people say, we were at a local gun and prayer rally here just recently in Gate City, Virginia, and Brother Noah Taylor, Eddie Taylor, from Greenwood, I believe it was Greenwood Baptist Church, made the comment. He said, people always look at me and say, well, Jesus said to turn the other cheek. That's true. He did. But he didn't say what to do after that. Listen, there's a time when you have to defend innocence. Do I think my family's worth protecting? Yes, I do. Do I think there are innocent people out in this world that are worth protecting? You better believe it. Turning your other cheek is certainly a good first step. And I think that's exactly what we're doing right now. As they're infringing our rights, we're turning our cheeks several times, folks. Don't misinterpret that. We are absolutely turning our cheeks as some of these Democrats are slapping us across the face and taking away, trying to take away and infringe upon our God-given rights. So we're going to turn that cheek, but we'll talk about what the Bible says when it comes to self-defense. Is it right to shoot someone that's coming in your house, right? Well, I'll tell you right now, with these laws they're putting in place, they're literally setting the stage. They have a bill that says that any minor in your house, I believe 14 age or younger, it may even be maybe 18 or younger, it may be true minors, should not be able to access and assemble a firearm along with the weapons. Essentially, you as the adult in the house have to keep those completely separate. And I'm going to tell you what's a terrifying scenario that paints for me. If someone's breaking in my front door, I can promise you right now, I will die to make sure that person leaves, okay? I will, and that they leave my family and my property, but property's secondary, folks, it is. You can replace property, you can't replace people. I will die making sure that those people leave my house and that my family is protected. I'll gladly lay my life down for that if I need to. What terrifies me is if in that of trying to achieve that goal of getting rid of that person, let's say my life is taken, does that give that criminal then the right to go on into my house and because of these new laws, go through and slaughter the rest of the people that are in my home? By these laws, that's exactly what it lets them do. Okay? I don't want my children grabbing a firearm. My children have been raised around firearms. They know gun safety. They know muzzle safety. I told you, I've said it several times now, education is a big part of this. We're going to be working with some local groups trying to get some education to our communities, both youth and older folks that just don't understand gun safety. But my children do understand gun safety, and do I want them to ever have to defend themselves in my house? No, I don't. I will die trying to defend that. But if I am taken out, then I want them to have some ability to be able to do that as well. How's it going? How many viewers?
Several questions.
Several questions. So what kind of question?
What do you think about Virginia becoming its own country? There's one.
All right, so let's address it. What do we think about Virginia becoming its own country? Right along those same lines, West Virginia and Kentucky have also reached out to some counties and said, hey, why don't y'all come join us? You know, I mean, on the surface, that sounds all well and good. I personally see that as just delaying the inevitable. If you flee from where you're at and you give up your God-given rights in that area just to go somewhere else, guys, it may be 6 months, it may be 6 years, it may be 15 years. They're going to be following you. They're eventually going to come back to your front door and knock again. I say it ends here in Virginia. No more. We don't need to run. We're not doing anything wrong. Okay? We need to have a conversation. Let's talk to people on the right, or excuse me, on the left, that want to take away some of these rights. Let's have a conversation. Look up another question. I'm going to make one more quick point. Historically speaking, let's talk about that because I said let's have that conversation. You hear the left make the comment and they say that, well, conservatives aren't willing to come to the middle ground. They don't want to have this conversation. Well, just like immigration that exploded around the year 2000, the left went further left. Okay? So I know we're kind of reverse directions. This is my left. This is your all's right, I do believe. But so I'm not going to hold it up. But just visualize this for a minute. Hold your left hand up, right? The left, and let's show what 1990 was, okay? This is my left, okay? And they were here in 1990, and the right was here, okay? Let's hold it to the camera. It's right here. Middle ground was right about here, right? That was the middle ground of the 1980s and 1990s, right? What happened around 2000 is there were some people on the right that went a little bit further right, but the left, it did that. My arms, it could go further out here, right? Guys, in the 1990s, you want to go back and read what Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden were saying about abortion. They weren't saying things like they're saying now. Back then they were saying, okay, abortion, yeah, let's have a talk about it, right? Let's talk a little bit about it. They were willing to have the talk. They didn't instantly jump to it. Now, we're way over here, they say, hey, let a baby be born, and once it's born and sitting on the table, let the mom and dad talk about it, and if they're like, you know what, I really don't want it. Okay, you can kill it now. They're wanting to call that abortion. That was not what the 1990s and 80s views was. Middle ground was here. It's now over here. So if you spread your arms out to what today is, you see middle ground's way over here. The middle ground is the old left. 1994 was when Bill Clinton put up the so-called assault weapons ban in 94. That was the old middle ground. They would love for us to come to the middle ground. Of course they would. They want us to come to the middle because that will give them what they had, what they wanted 10 and 20 years ago. That's not valid anymore, okay? As conservatives, we're saying, listen, we'll have the talk with you, but we're going to leave it at that old middle ground that we used to talk about, okay? We have existing laws about mental health issues. We have existing laws that say that if you use a firearm in the execution of a crime, there should be strict punishments. What are some of the Democrats doing right now? There's literally a bill that alleviates the crime for a lot of these folks. There is also another proposal coming forward that says for criminals from the 80s and 90s that were sentenced to lifetime without parole, they're trying to say, you know what, let's give them the option of parole. Folks, some of those folks are firearms violators. They used firearms in a crime. And they're wanting to say, let's give them an option of parole. The NRA has been fighting for years to say, no, throw the books at those people. They made a criminal act with a firearm. They shouldn't be allowed to do that anymore. They made a decision to exhaust and eliminate their right to exercise those rights. Okay, a thought came to mind there a second ago when I was talking about the NRA and the rights, and I don't remember what it is. Maybe it'll come back to me later. What are the questions we got?
Purple Jack has come up with several things and wanting to know about reaching out to the National Guard about talking to them about not complying with the national emergency.
So, great point. You said it was Pepperjack?
Yep.
Brother Pepperjack, great question. So, the question was, What about there was definitely a comment from one of the Democrats that said the governor could enact or call in the National Guard. Okay, the National Guard actually wrote a response, and as disappointed as I was with the Democrats throwing fuel on the fire on that issue. I was very disappointed because they could have diffused it. They could have said, listen, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. If people aren't doing this, we'll talk about that later. Instead, no, they just absolutely threw gasoline all over that fire. They threw napalm in there and said, oh yeah, we'll come get you guns. We'll bring in the National Guard, right? They asked the National Guard, it was the general of the National Guard in Virginia, they asked him to respond. As disappointed as I was with Democrats, I was so proud of his response because his response was diffusing. It was diffusing to both sides, okay? It was accurate, it was truthful, it was honest. It was what he basically said was that if the time comes that has to be brought up, we'll talk about it then. He had not been notified or hadn't even been suggested to him up to that point in time. And furthermore, he said that all the National Guard members have the right to express their opinion as citizens, as independent and law-abiding citizens of the Commonwealth of Virginia when they are in their civilian clothes. Now, when they are in their military fatigues, there are slightly different rules, okay? So they can't go out and speak on behalf of the entire National Guard. So his response, he basically said, listen, folks, we're not going to go there. We'll deal with that later. It was an incredibly defusing response. I was so proud. So to that general, I want to say thank you. If you got, I don't know his name. I really should look it up. He's the leader of the National Guard in Virginia. I thought it was a fantastic response. I will tell you, folks, our brothers in the military, brothers and sisters, our brothers and sisters in the National Guard, our brothers and sisters that are walking the blue line every day as police officers, state police, whatever they may be, folks, at the end of the day, they're citizens as well. And many of them, the overwhelming majority, I have absolutely no doubt, are Second Amendment supporters. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and guess about what they will or won't do. I hope we never see that day. Again, it goes back to Richmond. Let's keep it peaceful. We don't want to give them the excuse to try to throw more fuel on that fire by calling in the National Guard. There's no need for that. We don't want that, okay? If they come, we want them coming and lobbying with us. So, any other good questions, Jace?
We're kind of in a standstill right now. Just people talking back and forth.
How many people we got online?
26.
26. Yeah, the phone's definitely locked up because on my phone I'm seeing 31 people. I'm holding the Bible up so I can see it's white on white, so I don't see it on my phone. How long have we been going for? We've been going for, how long does it say? An hour and 22 minutes. We're coming up on an hour and a half. How's that? Does that sound like a good stopping point?
Okay, yeah. Sassafras just threw a question out. Will the Second Amendment folks get to select the judge, or will the Democrat courts assign?
That is a great question as far as the judge. So we know the Democrats are going to try. I mean, when it comes to the judge, I'm assuming Sassafras. Let me repeat the question. The question was, will the Democrats or Republicans get to pick the judge? She doesn't give context around picking the judge, right? Okay. So just ask, will they get to pick the judge? Sassafras, I'm assuming you mean that if it passes and it gets challenged, will they get to pick the judge or will it be someone else? It's my understanding that if it gets challenged at the state level, it will go to a state level judge. There are a lot of Democratic judges that are there. There was an article that's been going around. It was several years old from an instance. I believe it was, I don't remember what state. I don't know if it was Virginia or not. But it was basically an old article saying that there was a state level court that had already basically said that restricting what's so-called assault weapons was constitutional. That article was written right after that decision was made. The history that was lost, and if you just read that article and stop at face value, that's where you stop. You think, well, okay, if they pass this, we're out of luck. No, the story goes on. That was challenged. That was overturned at the state level. Okay? I don't remember the exact state. I'll try to find that later on. But Sassafras, Sister Sassafras, that was a good question. At the state level, it will, if it gets challenged by the NRA or whatever the lawyers, it will have to go up through the state Supreme Court first. If it gets justified there, or, well, of course, if it gets struck down, we're good, right? That takes care of it. That would be wonderful. But in a way, it'd be better if it went to the Supreme Court. Now, if it goes to the Supreme Court, that would be because there was whatever decision was made was contested, or maybe they didn't reach a decision and they escalate it to a higher court. Which in that case, if it goes to the Supreme Court of the United States, folks, you can read a lot of the current Supreme Court justices and their opinion on the Second Amendment and their opinion on what are happening with a lot of the anti-gun crowds across the U.S. I'm very confident if it goes there, I know what will happen. It's going to be good. Okay, it's going to work. They will uphold the Constitution. But sassafras, I will try to get a little bit more information on that and understand that process better for you by the next time we go live and talk a little bit about that. So, judges, who chooses? Honestly, with Democrats in power, I would say if it's at the state level, they're certainly going to do their best to fight to have a Democrat or an anti-gunner. Let's just say someone that does not support the Second Amendment be the judge for that court. Now, I don't want to throw any of our brothers and sisters that are judges underneath the bus either, because I think a lot of them, the majority of them, I also think are Second Amendment supporters. But can they find that one little one and find a way to finagle into that to making that happen? I'll tell you right now, if they can, I'm sure they will try. Okay, and they may. But I know we can contest it, and we feel very confident we'll go to the Supreme Court. So I'll have more information on that one hopefully down the road.
Tell Piney the ridiculous comments will be gone.
Oh, Piney's still going?
When we figure out how to do it.
Piney's still going? Is it Piney?
Some ridiculous thoughts.
Piney, some ridiculous thoughts. Piney. Piney, don't you have something better to do? Come on, man.
Comments are crazy.
Go out and just, get yourself some ice cream. Come back, sit down and just cry for a while. I'm sure you're still brokenhearted that Trump won. You might have been in one of the videos that was crying. I'm sorry, buddy, but listen, man, we love you. We want you, Piney, to have your rights. That's the thing. Why do you hate us? What do you hate about us? That's one of the conversations I have when I talk to someone on the other side. I said, listen, man, if you don't want to do it, that's great. I went so far to say if there was a bill that came out that said you will be required to have and carry and use and train and know how to use a firearm, I would oppose that equally, because that is infringing upon your right of choice. Okay? So to all those out there that say, I don't want a gun, that's great. If you don't want one, you have that choice. All we're saying is, why do you hate us? Why are you taking away our choice to choose? Okay? We've all heard the saying, if someone breaks into your house, what are the first things you're probably going to do? You're going to call somebody with a gun if you don't have one. You're probably going to pray to God and say, God, I hope you save me. That's why being a Christian and being a gun owner to me go hand in hand. You know what? I'll still call 911, but if it takes a while for them to get there, we know what will happen. We saw it in Texas. 6 seconds. In 6 seconds, the gunman fired 2 shots. He shot 2 people before a Second Amendment supporter safely executed a lethal shot. And that was a fantastic shot. He's already received an award, the highest civilian award he can receive within the state. That all unfolded in 6 seconds. Now, the reports I read after that is the police were on scene within a minute, which is fantastic. That's above and beyond the national average. I believe that national average is somewhere more in like 3 to 5, if not more minutes, right? I can tell you right now, where we live right here, it's going to take a while, unless there just happens to be an officer here in the area. We have a great new sheriff, Sheriff Jeff Eads. Shout out to you, Jeff Eads, brother. We're glad to have you. But to him and his whole crew, I know they're going to do everything in their power to try to get here and help us out. But a lot can happen in that time that it takes them to get here. And that's not their fault, folks. That's just the way it is. We don't live in a police state. I don't want to live in a police state. All these Democrats talk about all the things they want: free food, free health care, a police state. They ought to just move into prison. That's where they ought to go. They've already got it there if they want that. So I don't want our states, I don't want my family to be living that way. Any other questions?
No, but just for some odd reason in the live stream, you're not allowed to put an American flag. A lot of people have said they wonder why you can't.
So in the live stream, is not allowing American flags.
You can put any other icons. You can't put an American flag.
Put any other icons, but not an American flag. Well, I hear you guys. Yeah, that's probably YouTube. I mean, I'll be the first to admit. Call me a conspiracy theorist, whatever you want. I believe with every conspiracy, there's a little bit of truth there. Does YouTube block things? Does Facebook block things? I'll tell you right now, Facebook I know does. I've literally seen them delete things off of my wall without any notification. Things that I know were factual. They were just my opinion in some cases, and they disappeared. No foul language. By the way, comments here. One thing I want to make clear to everybody is we do want to keep this child friendly. We want no negative comments. We want no harassment. So I'm that same way in my posts and being public as well. So, and I try to be that in my personal life. I certainly smash my finger from time to time, maybe when I'm driving in a nail, and the old me, the old lost in this world me might say something. But certainly as a Christian, I try to make sure that I don't represent that inappropriately. So I don't know why it's not allowing American flags. Again, that may be one of the glitches. Maybe it's something I'm doing. I don't know the answer to that. We're going to try to get through all these glitches the next several days. I do want to make a comment too if you are in Scott County, Virginia. So I hope maybe a couple of folks are listening. If you're in Scott County, Virginia, or if you're in Virginia, or if you're in your state, it really applies to everybody, guys. What can you do? Get out and talk. Get people registered to vote. When the voting comes around, get them to the polls. In Scott County, Virginia, we are looking again at having a group rally, a group meeting for the Scott County, Virginia gun owners. That's Scott County VA gun owners Facebook group. We're looking to have that on the 25th. We're still looking for a good centralized venue. By the way, our group email is Scott County VA gun owners. That's plural, owners. Scott County VA gun owners @gmail.com. If there's any communication you guys want to send, feel free to send us an email. I'll try to do a good job at checking up on that and seeing that mingled in with all the other comments on our videos. But again, on the 25th, we are going to try to have a rally with our Facebook group. And so, if you can, once we end this stream, I'm going to remind everybody again, all the comments that happened during the stream, I think are going to go away. They're going to be deleted when we end this stream because we're not at 1,000 subscribers yet. So what do we need you to do? We need you to hit subscribe. That will allow us to save these comments in the future. I really feel bad the comments have stopped for me. My brother Jason's helping out here. We're going to try to keep up with some of these. I've gotten a couple written down. But hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. That way these comments will be preserved from live streams. But we are going to continue pushing forward. We're going to continue reaching out to folks. We're going to have our local meetings. We're going to band together. On the 19th is whenever I'm going up to Richmond. So I'm going up Sunday. We're going to be hopefully doing an interview with one of our local TV channels. I'll give you some more information as we get closer to that. I don't want to throw it out there and mislead anybody in case that falls through. But we are looking to have get some TV time and talk about what we're trying to do. I've said education alone. Let me elaborate a little bit on that too. One of the things that we're going to do locally here in Scott County, so again, if you're in Scott County, if you're in Wise County, Lee County, any of the surrounding counties, even in your own county, guys, even if this battle is not in your front yard yet, it will be. What we've got to do...
It's Wisconsin, JD.
Oh, JD on the phone?
Yeah.
Brother JD! Hit speaker. Are you there?
Hello?
Brother locked and loaded.
Locked and loaded in the house. You don't have to turn me the speaker or nothing. I just want to let you know, I heard your brother say that you couldn't put a flag on there. And I always put American flags and Jerusalem flags, Israeli flags, and they always go up there. And for some reason, your brother was right. They're not going on there. But do me a favor. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. Yes, sir. You're on live, by the way. You're talking to everybody else too.
When you come into the trolls, are you pushing the picture, or are you clicking on their comment?
So actually, I do not see a picture. All I see is a name and then the comment.
Okay, you don't see their faces?
No, I do not see their faces.
What about Jason? Does he see the same? Well, it's not linked in the same way. You're way delayed.
Yes, it is delayed. So he may be on his feed. I'm not sure, but we can, maybe tomorrow or the next day we'll do a quick live feed. And again, I think when we get it working on the computer, that's going to make a lot of this a little easier. And again, once we get to 1,000 subscribers, that'll certainly make this easier too.
Well, yeah, but you can still wipe out the trolls. I mean, I'm not saying that they're. The thing is, with YouTube, brother, when you have trolls putting in all those nasty comments, it actually affects your channel through YouTube.
Absolutely, yeah, because they'll start blocking things. We've got to get on that. I agree 100% as soon as we can.
Oh, I'm watching the delay. I'm on camera. I didn't know. Whoops.
It's all good, but hey, listen, he came in here live. We just brought you on with us, so
Yeah, well, my bad. Let me turn this down. So, anyways, before I get off here, which I'm gonna stay the whole duration, I am extremely proud of you, brother. I'm extremely proud of your brother Jason too. And I'm telling you what, your dad is grinning from ear to ear. You're all fighting a good fight, and you know it's gonna be a strong battle. It's gonna be a hard battle. Fisticuffs. I just want to pray for you and Jason. You know, whoever goes to the Capitol, you there?
yeah, we're listening, brother.
All right. Well, I'm just saying, you know, keep your head on a swivel and just be careful. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, man.
Because you know you're walking into enemy territory, and I wish I could be there with the both of you all. Or if Jason's going, if not, I mean, I don't know who you're taking, but I don't know. It just breaks my heart that I can't be there with you all.
For everyone listening, and JD, for you too, you know, we're going to have the cloak of God around us. You know, we're going to have prayers. I know everybody online. I know I can count on everybody to be praying for us. JD, I know I can count on you, other prayer warriors, to pray for a peaceful event. That's what we want. I'm going to have my Bible with me that day. We certainly will have our head on a swivel. We'll be watching out and making sure we stay safe. But, you know, I'm confident that God has a plan for it, and it's going to be God's plan. That's what I want to have happen.
Because gun-free zones have painted targets.
If you don't mind me asking, who's going with you? Jay going with you?
No, it's at the moment it's going to be me, and there's one other from the administrative group that's going to be there.
You got a first name?
It's I believe it's David.
All right. Let me throw out a prayer for you if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
All right. Heavenly Father, I come to you tonight, as many of us do, watching Jeff do his live stream. We're very proud of Jeff for his live stream and Brother Jason for helping him along with it. Lord, when Brother Jeff goes on this journey to the Capitol to help fight the good fight, the God-given right, our Second Amendment, to basically protect our lives and protect our family, Lord, I ask you, I beg you to please encamp him with the wings of angels, along with his friend David, I believe. Lord, please protect them both, and please help them spread the word. Lord, I ask that you just give them the strength to go on and fight the good fight, not in a terrible way, Lord, but to preach the gospel, to maybe tone down some of these far-left people that are brainwashed and explain how important our Second Amendment is. It's not just for fighting tyranny. It's a big one. But Lord, there's many people that rely on having these certain weapons to hunt, to feed their families. If you take that away and replace it with food stamps, Lord, you're taking away we Americans, our beliefs. I don't know. I screwed it up, but I see it and I feel it, and I'm worried about you. I'm worried about your friend, but I have faith. So once again, Lord, please give them the strength and protect them when they go on this journey. Some may think it's nothing big, but to me it's huge and it's very dangerous. So in Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. Absolutely, JD. You didn't mess it up. That's perfect. That's what we need. Everybody needs to say prayers for us. Say prayers for our elected representatives that they make the right choice. Pray for the whole situation.
I apologize for messing up, but I got choked up a bit. Because, like I said, I see your dad. I know he's proud of you. He's proud of Jason. He's proud of all y'all. And I guarantee he would love to be there right now. But
Thank you, JD. God bless you. I'm going to hand you back to Jason. All right, folks, what he talked about there is dead on. So, yeah, Richmond, I mean, we're going to see how it goes. I want it to be a good event. I hope it will be a good event. All of you guys, you ask, what can you do? You can go down here. You can hit the subscribe. That's going to help us make this a lot easier. I know I'm still trying to learn how the comments and everything work, and we've got some trolls doing some things. We're going to get that figured out, but if you can subscribe to this video, that's going to help us. We need to get to 1,000. Once we get to 1,000, that's a YouTube thing. It's not me picking a number. Once we get to 1,000, we don't need to use this this other back door that Brother Vern was so graciously willing to help us get working here for it over at Vern's Prep and Survival. But what Brother Justin was saying from locked and loaded 100% is dead on. We need to pray about the situation. And what you can do, you can subscribe, you can hit the notifications, share this video. Guys, I mean, just ask yourself this: does your Second Amendment right mean enough for you that you can take a few seconds and share the video on Twitter or YouTube, whatever else it is? We really are trying hard to get to 1,000 because we want to be able to bring you the best information. We're not trying to compete with anybody else. We're simply just trying to get some information out. With information comes knowledge, with knowledge comes wisdom, and with wisdom comes power. So we're not seeking power. We're simply seeking to preserve the rights that God gave us. Really, honestly, I think the way JD said that's probably a good way to wrap this up. I know I was talking there a minute ago about education, and we're going to be working with local school boards to try to get some educational programs back in the schools around general safety, situational awareness, understand, look at their surroundings when you get off that school bus. There might be some car that's not normally there, that's running over in the corner, some general safety guidelines for our youth. There's going to be we would like to have a section around firearm safety. Look, we teach vehicle safety. We have driver's education, and an equal or more people die in a vehicle, which in no way is intended to do harm or demolish or destroy anything. Whereas with firearms that are made to destroy things, most of the time it's a deer or a turkey or a target. But you've got equally number of people losing their lives in a vehicle accident. And those mostly are not suicides. Those are truly accidents. So we want some education around firearms training, teaching our youth muzzle safety. If you see a firearm, go tell an adult, right? Number one. But if one of your friends ignores that first most important rule of telling an adult, make sure that they understand, don't touch that. Hey, look where you're pointing at. Be careful. Don't touch the trigger. You don't point a gun at anything you don't intend to destroy. So the last piece of that, of course, is drug resistance enforced education. So we want to bring a lot of renewal to drug awareness and drug education, drug issues in our area, all across the United States. One of the fastest growing crimes is human trafficking. So whatever that reason may be, guys, listen, if you don't believe in evil, just read into the stories of human trafficking. It's horrible. A great number of it is around taking young girls and even young boys and turning them into prostitutes, sex slaves. The idea that someone would do that is just horrific. The idea that someone would take a young person to be able to cut out their lungs and put it on the black market in their heart and their eyes, and that's there. There's a black market for those things, and it's just beyond disturbing to think the evil that's in this world. So all those things we want to be able to bring some education. We're using social media here. We want to make sure that parents are aware of the dangers of social media. If you've got any young children that are using like the app, a real common one, Snapchat, right? They click Snapchat and then they send it and it goes away in a couple of seconds. Why do you have to have it go away in a couple of seconds? What are you sending that it's that, confidential, or that you want to keep it that quiet? I mean, I'm putting these long videos out here and I want everyone to come look at them, right? So all those general awareness things we want to do within our community. We'll have more on that in a future video. Maybe we'll have I'd like to have some firearm reviews. We'll talk about maybe this percussion rifle up on the above the mantle here. Bring information to you. We're going to be going live more. We're going to be getting this worked out. The next couple of days, I'll ask you all please to pray for the situation. Pray for this channel. Let me get some knowledge on how to work these comments and make this going live work better. So I know Brother Vern, Brother Justin, Brother Mitchell, others, you all are helping me out on this. We'll certainly get it done. At the end of the day, I want God's will to be done. So that's what I'm looking to do. I know we said tonight we were going to have some QA. I tried getting to some of those questions. We probably didn't have as many as I wanted to. Again, I apologize for the technical issues, but I really, truly appreciate your all's patience. I appreciate y'all being here tonight. Again, if you can just take a few minutes and hit that subscribe, hit that notification button, share this video out, share others, let them know we need to get some subscriptions so that we can make sure that this live event on the 20th works right. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We've went a good long time. God bless it for that. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. So I'm going to say a word of prayer real quick. Dear Heavenly Father, Lord, we want to thank you for tonight. Thank you for this opportunity to be here. God, things didn't go perfect tonight, Lord, but we just ask that whatever did happen tonight, Lord, we know you're in control. God, and we ask that the way that it went, we just pray, Lord, that that's the way that you wanted it to go. We may not understand the reason why, Lord. Maybe doing it this way and that little pause, that hesitation that was needed, that was in your plan, God. I fully believe that. I have faith in you, that whatever happened, it happened for a reason, Lord. All these things are planned for you, Lord, and I just ask that as we go forward, Lord, that you open hearts and minds. All those people that are watching that may be sick or afflicted, Lord, just put your healing hand around them, Lord, and just, Lord, whatever we do here, God, let us open our hearts and minds. Let us hear what you want us to hear. Let me say, Lord, what you want me to say. God, we know things in this world, they're not the most important thing. Our salvation is the most important thing, Lord. But once we get that settled, God, let us follow your word. Let us protect the innocent. Let us protect our family. Let us work to preserve those rights that you gave to us while we were still yet unborn in the womb, Lord. God, I just want to thank you for this chance tonight. Thank you for all these folks that are here watching. Lord, just ask you to pray for them. Have your hand over them. Lord, pray for the upcoming event. We're going to have some more videos before then. But God, if this is what you want, then Lord, if it's what you want, then I know it will happen. Because God, if you're in it, then who can stand against it? The Bible, your word tells us that, Lord. We know that. If it's your desire this doesn't happen, then it won't happen. And that's okay. We'll have faith. We may not understand. We may never know, Lord, but there's a reason for it. So, Lord, we have faith, and just ask that you all would just bless us and renew our faith to have that strength to follow you, do as you say, and let you have the reins. Just follow you, God. All these things in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Remember, you can add some comments down below. If I didn't get to your question, once we end this live stream, you can then add comments below. Those comments after the stream ends for this way that we're doing this, they should be there. I ask you, I really beg you to actually put your questions in. We'll do some more Q&As. That'll give me a good set of questions to start with. We went a long time tonight. We've talked about a lot of stuff. There's been a lot of folks on here. We'll try to get those trolls taken care of, guys. We want to keep this going if it's God's will. I guess we'll go ahead and sign off now.
Call out the Facebook group. Dylan Lawson wants you to call out the Facebook group.
Dylan, thank you. Okay, Dylan, yes, if you are already on Facebook or if you're planning on joining.
They have to answer.
If you are planning on joining, join on Facebook. It's Scott County, SCOTT, County, just COUNTY, VA for Virginia, gun owners. Owners is plural. It can be uppercase, lowercase, it doesn't matter. Same with the email, same with this YouTube channel. Scott County, VA, gun owners. You can look us up on Facebook. You can find us. If you join, be sure to answer the questions. Just like on YouTube here, we have trolls. We're working on trying to get rid of those. In the Facebook land, if they don't answer questions, those are a lot of times trolls, or the people that really aren't in this. They don't really care. We want to reach out to the people that want to know. We are continually reaching out to people that don't care. But if they don't answer the questions, you're not going to get in because, guys, that's asking very little. There's like 3 questions, right? I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but it doesn't matter. Answer those questions. Join the group. Answer the questions. There's a lot of good information. We've got documents on there. We've got updates. We have the ability to make some of those notes, I think they call it sticky or something that stays at the top. Makes an announcement. I think that's what it is. So there's a lot of good information on that Facebook group. Again, to our Scott County, VA, Virginia Gun Owners group members, we are looking at having a meeting on the 25th. We're still looking at a venue. We'll make a comment on Facebook. We'll also make a YouTube post on when that will be. And hey, if we can, we will certainly be going live from that event as well. So anybody that's close enough, wherever that venue is, we really want you to come out because your number's showing up, your face being there, that means a whole lot, right? Ask yourself if the Second Amendment's important enough to you, and if it is, I know it is, you'll be there if you can be. If you can't be, we understand if you're sick, right? If you got the flu, stay at home. We don't want it. We don't want the flu, okay? Keep that crud at home. So, pray about it. Be in much prayer. Pray for us. Pray for all those going to Richmond. Guys, pray for the folks on the other side too. We should ask God to show them the error of their ways. Let them be enlightened. Let them have renewed faith in Jesus Christ and come to know the Lord. And if they come to know the Lord, they'll come to know His Word. And if they come to know His Word, they'll understand better why the Second Amendment is so important. So until next time, guys, God bless you all. Godspeed. We'll be talking to you again soon. We'll be trying this the next couple of days. Thank you all again. One last time, if you can, please hit that subscribe button, hit that notifications button, share this thing, share the whiz out of this. We want this to go wide and far simply because we want people to be able to be up to date and educated on these topics. So we love you all. God bless you. Godspeed. Until next time, stay safe. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.